Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. My name is LJ Jones,
I'm Zac Carter.
and today we got our very first guest. He's a legend, he's an OG. He started OTS Media. My guy, Derrick Myers, was good.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Bro, this feels like old times.
I know it does. It does.
I'm the
For
third
anybody
wheel.
that
Don't
doesn't
worry.
know, for anybody that doesn't know, we hosted a podcast together for about 2-ish years.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone listened, but we did it.
Yeah, no, I was just telling someone yesterday. I said that a lot of the shows that I started off early on probably only got like 5 plays or whatever per episode.
Yeah.
So what? We did it to kind of and it perfected the craft, honestly. So I you can go back and look at those episodes and still enjoy them. So I look at it as content that people will just go back and enjoy uh after probably after the show is over, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, absolutely. So, if you haven't, go back and listen to Realish and any of the other podcasts that OTS has.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Most definitely.
But enough with the kindness. I don't like it. I'm not here for it. We're here to have a very serious discussion. And that is, who is the best live action Spider-Man between Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland? Zach, who do you got?
Andrew, baby, most underappreciated of the three.
I actually would agree with that. I think
Enough.
he is the most.
That's too nice. Derrick, who you got?
I'm already on a winning streak.
Holland is the most comic book accurate. So
Agree to disagree. I have the real legend, Tobey Maguire.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
we appreciate the Toby.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do.
He's a foundation.
Absolutely. Now, Derrick, I don't know if you remember this. On our old podcast,
Mhm.
we reviewed the Toby trilogy.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
Uh, I don't remember what was said on it,
Me either.
but
That was
we
so long
reviewed
ago.
it. So
Actually, that was during the pandemic too. So yeah, I definitely don't remember that.
I think that we should get started with you guys want to start with Peter Parker. Let's set aside the movies. Let's set aside Spider-Man. Let's start with Peter Parker. Derrick, you're the guest. Why don't you kick us off? Why is Tom Holland the best Peter Parker?
Oh, he's not only is he the best Peter Parker, but he's the most accurate Peter Parker because Peter is a nerd. He's a dork. He's not a pretty boy. That's the one thing I hated about Andrew Garfield's. He was a pretty boy, and he doesn't look like he's 30 plus, which is why I hate Tobey Maguire's version. The look wise only. Um, Tom looks like perfect age. He came in at the perfect time, still in high school, and coming into his own as a character. But we didn't get an origin story. We didn't need the origin story. It was perfectly well done. But his Peter Parker is that quirky, you know, uh, uh, guy that just can't seem to fit in anywhere. And I think Tom does a great job with not only the physical portrayal of it, but um, with the speech because he sounds like a kid. He sounds like he's still trying to figure out who he is as a person, and you go through this whole awkward stage with him as Peter, trying to figure out how to conceal his identity and also go talk to the girl he likes, right? And he almost killed his classmate just trying to get next to MJ.
Irresponsible.
Very irresponsible, but that's what kids do. Kids are irresponsible.
My
Not that
Spider-Man.
irresponsible, but
My Spider-Man.
So,
hey,
so
no, he would.
I'll say it like this: quirkiness set aside. Okay, yes, we know Peter Parker as a quirky kind of your back in the corner of the room type of guy where he's not going to be the main event. He's going to be a wallflower, right? But I'll tell you something we didn't get to see too much of Tom do in his standalone films is the innovation, the building the web slingers.
Okay.
Now, granted, now, like I said, Tom's foundation, why he doesn't apply as the epitomal Spider-Man to me is because he was built off of Tony Stark, not himself. Which
Preach.
MCU, granted, this is the MCU. This is Sony. This is once again Sony, but just different directors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We have different approaches to this. OJ, I know is going to take this right off the shelf, but basically, what it comes down to is we're not getting to see Peter Parker build his alias as Spider-Man by himself. We're getting to see him piggyback off of Tony Stark the entire way. I mean, truly the only standalone Spider-Man film that I felt that Tom had was No Way Home, which we'll get into that later because that has all three of us motherfuckers in there. But when it comes down to it, we didn't get to see the creativity, the ingenious sides of Spider-Man. We got to see him smart. He was in, advanced education, went on class field trips, yada, 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 could get accepted into A-list colleges. That's cool. I mean, that can be filled in the plot holes by the audience. But that's my problem with Tom, for me personally, because whereas Tom didn't show that, Andrew did. We got to see him build the web slingers from the very beginning. But go ahead. I know you're about to say something.
So let me ask you about that, because is the web slinger, for me, the web slinger aspect of it is a part of the origin story, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I think that's why we didn't see that. But did you need to see it? I didn't need to see it. It was one of those things I was like, whatever.
Let's be honest. Any comic book fan or even average moviegoer can go into that and probably put two and two together. Mm-hmm. It's like Batman. The origin story has been told so many times. People are very well aware of it. Right, to LJ's defense, and this is the one time you're going to hear me not shit talk him on Tobey, is that Andrew's introduction, Tom Holland's introduction was built off the foundation of Tobey. That was such a popularized mainstream movie. Most people knew what happened to Uncle Ben. Most people knew the whole backstory.
Right.
But the thing is,
and it was done so much better in Tobey's Spider-Man than it was in Andrew Garfield's. The death of Uncle Ben. That was
because your boy decided to jizz spider webs out of his wrist. Like what? There's no building there. All he went.
Hold up. I'm not talking about spider jizz, and I don't know that I can. I don't know if they'll allow that word online. But
spider.
Origin story. The side of the origin story with the loss of Uncle Ben. Mm-hmm. It was done very, I don't know if I want to say poorly in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but it was done very quickly, and it took that emotional element out of it. Was it sad? Sure, it was sad. Mm-hmm. Tobey Maguire's Uncle Ben's death was heartbreaking. Did you see that cry that Tobey Maguire did? He was devastated.
Oh,
yeah, that was probably one of the ugliest cries.
That poured over Andrew's hand as he tried to stop the bleeding on Ben. They didn't show that in Tobey Maguire's because they didn't have the cojones to. You know what I'm saying?
That was also Sam Raimi directing, so and I like Sam, but there are things that he should have done differently, that he could have done differently. That's the reason why we got the third one.
Do we think that's pushback from the studio? Because I think Sam Raimi would have made it a horror movie.
Sam Raimi made Evil Dead, which had a budget of less than $250,000. Was the most gory film of all time. Had no exception rate. And guess what? He still had the depth of it. He was able to show shit that most people wouldn't even touch in theaters at the time. So don't tell me after the success of that the studio said we don't trust you.
No, not
it's the studio.
Not that the studio doesn't trust him. It's that the studio's like, we need to market this towards children. We need to market this towards kids, towards families. This needs to be accepted by everybody.
Yeah, because think about it. That was also piggybacking off of the animated series in the 90s. So, yeah, I think but to that point, the darkest comic book film we had was Blade.
Yes.
So you weren't trying to go that route.
Right.
Which you could have. But like even Spider-Man killing the Uncle Ben's murderer was weird.
That was dark. That was dark.
It was dark, but it was weird too, because he just tripped over a pipe and went out the window. That was the most.
He's like, hey, you know.
Yeah, what I mean? It's so cartoonish. Like,
you gotta remember in these first iterations of these characters to the silver screen.
Yeah,
they're not gonna be as most comic book accurate as it gets. Look at Tim Burton's Batman. The man killed multiple people in that movie.
No,
and was never talked about.
Batman. That's another thing. I think we've discussed that before too. LJ. Batman has murdered multiple people across multiple films that people don't talk about.
Great.
Hey, by the way, we have to have Derrick come back on to discuss the best Batman.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I can tell you right now who I think the best Batman is.
Please send me in that one.
Do you want me to tell you who I think it is?
Derrick and I agree on this. Derrick, go ahead. Tell him.
Ben Affleck is the best Batman Bruce Wayne combo.
Absolutely. Oh, we're all in agreement.
All right. So, all right.
Podcast done.
There you go. Fastest episode in podcast history.
It's done. It's done. You heard it here.
I don't want to transition too far out when I say this, but we're talking about a dark Spider-Man. Have you guys ever read the leaked James Cameron Spider-Man script?
No. I heard about it. I didn't read it.
I read it maybe a couple months ago. That was an R-rated Spider-Man film that would have been incredible.
Well, once again, going back
to written for Leonardo DiCaprio.
See, that's the weird. That casting was so weird. That was so. Happen? No. If you can't save yourself from dying on Titanic, I don't want to.
If you can't climb on a fucking
climb on a door.
What?
Nah, he was trying to get away from her.
Not like that. I got away from my ex without dying. You know what I'm saying? So that was the wrong way out. Go to another door.
Listen, Tobey, to me, and again, yeah, he did. Everybody says that he looks 30. I don't.
He had a shadow, bro.
Who cares? I now see it's coming back to me. We talked about this. You said no high schoolers had beards. All the kids in my school when I was in high school had beards.
Not back. No.
Oh no.
Sorry, beards, full grown beards. I had a mustache at 13.
No. LJ's mad because his classmates failed their grades about 3 times over, and by that time,
okay,
already dropped.
So they should have beards.
Of course, I mean that's what happens.
No, yeah. the thing that when people like to use that as a way to insult those movies, but what they forget is that he wasn't in high school for the entire duration of the film. He was in college. He was in high school for the first 20 minutes, maybe. Bro. And then he graduated and was in college.
Look at your high school pics. Look at if you have a high school book, if you have one of those class books, look at that book. Now, I guarantee you, not one of your classmates looks like they're late 20s, early 30s.
Derrick, not to interrupt, but I got
people said I looked 30 when I was 15.
Oh my God. OJ, no. Let me ask you this to build off of Derrick's point. What senior in high school complains about their fucking back? It's a main point in that movie. He heard
that is. He complained about. He did. He sure did.
Oh, second one, I remember. That's the second one.
No,
he did complain.
No. He was trying to figure out his webs. He was like Shazam, go web, go, and then he finally did the,
that go web, go. I love that part.
Yeah,
go web, go.
He hit a billboard and slid down, and then was complaining about his back.
Yeah. My boy has the density of a spider. He should not be complaining.
Nah, I partially tore my Achilles and I was fine. I walked that off.
That was in the beginning. That was in the beginning of the transformation. He was the powers were slowly starting to come to him. So and we could talk about Spider-Man's strength. Spider-Man is one of the strongest characters in all of comics. DC, Spider-Man. Listen,
which is weird.
Spider-Man's beat the Hulk, Thanos, the Thing. He's strong. So, but especially in the Sam Raimi's, that isn't the most comic accurate. But we're not here to discuss comic accuracy, right?
I am.
So I'm not.
I came for that smoke. I want it.
So the webs, as Zach put it, the webs jizz out of his arms. That's not comic accurate. But from a fan perspective, I actually prefer that to.
I thought you said from a man perspective. I was like, I'm sure you would, but here's what it comes down to, my guy. We want to talk about comic accuracy. Name the Earth or the iteration of Spider-Man that your actors decided to play. It's not Earth 616 because we know the MCU has been defined as not Earth 616. For those who are watching, don't understand comic slang, let me define this. Earth 616 is known as our Earth, the one everybody's familiar with, the one, if Batman existed or Spider-Man existed, it's the one you know and love, okay? LJ obviously is not Earth 616 because he has the actual web slingers. Tom Holland is not Earth 616 because his origin story, first off, Kevin Feige has defined that that's not Earth 616 as Spider-Man, not Prime Earth Spider-Man. We don't really know what either of you gentlemen's Spider-Men belong to. Whereas it is clearly defined in the Amazing Spider-Man that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and it has been confirmed by the director, is based off of the Ultimate Spider-Man series. That's why you've got the edgier scenes. That's why you've got more of their willingness to show the graphic violence of Uncle Ben's death. We're talking about Flash bullying. That's whole little edgy 2000, late 2000s scene where he's doing.
I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you. Flash. No. This is coming against me. Speaking of the bully Flash, Joe Manganiello. Yeah, him. He looked like 57.
He looked old as hell.
Dude, that boy went straight from that set right on the Magic Mike and filmed that damn gas station right after. I mean, that's how that happened.
Their high school teacher looked more like a high school student.
Yeah. I mean, you got to understand the early 2000s were weird about that.
They're
horrible. Like, oh, Frodo Baggins, he's supposed to be young in age. Let's cast a 30-year-old Eli Wood, here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just how it worked. I mean, so I'm not going to hold that part against you. I won't. But I will say that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man did not fit in a Peter Parker at all. I mean,
he didn't fit Peter Parker at all.
No, not at all. Does Peter Parker go, now dig on this?
Yeah, that horrible dance scene. No.
Like, what?
No.
Raimi, what the hell are you doing, my boy?
I honestly
know a lot of things.
Honestly, Spider-Man 3 kills
your
whole version.
Let me do this.
I just want to clip that on loop.
I mean, that is not how Peter has ever, even in my universe, Ultimate, where he's supposed to be an edgy little bastard. He was never that. You went full My Chemical Romance. You went, hey, let's belt out the Black Parade album word for word. I don't know what he was going through or what the symbiote decided to do to him. They were like, hey, let's make a Linkin Park character out of this guy.
Yeah, almost like an emo Peter.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. We've never seen that before.
That was weird.
So when I look at the three Peter Parkers here, this is what I always say: Andrew Garfield, too sexy.
Wait. So, Peter is not a pretty boy.
Blame a guy for how he looks.
Peter is not a pretty boy.
Peter's not sexy.
Have you ever seen the 60s cartoon? That dude had a jawline that could cut a fucking foreskin off a flea. I don't even want to hear you about this right now. Stan Lee was told, hey, let's not make him as buff as Captain America, but he still made Peter good looking. Peter didn't have severe acne like I did in high school, okay? He didn't deal with the social anxiety of a normal teenager in any iteration. We don't see Tom's pretty boy. Tom's the most pretty boy. He's been in Uncharted. I don't want to hear anything. Tobey Maguire is in The Great Gatsby. What are you starting to talk about, my boy?
Tom is pretty, but he's short and so are you.
And quirky.
So and quirky,
He's quirky. His quirkiness works into his look. It didn't do that for Andrew.
Agreed. Tom is more quirky than he is nerdy. Yeah. And we know Tom is brilliant. We know that. That's clear. But the nerdy side of Peter doesn't show.
Yeah. And he also had the best Aunt May.
Well, okay, let me rephrase this. So to fight standpoints on both of you gentlemen, you're saying that Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was not nerdy enough.
Not at all.
Not at all.
The man wore a Carter jacket over a hoodie. He looked like he was literally
trying.
In the Jelly of the Month Club. Like, what do you want from?
He looked like he was trying.
He was cosplaying as a nerd.
Yeah, he was cosplaying a nerd, and it didn't work.
Spider-Man doesn't skateboard through the hallways. Cool people do that.
I didn't know Peter Parker ever had a skateboard.
Once again, Ultimate Spider-Man. He's not as.
Didn't Peter have a bicycle?
Inclined, okay. So you guys,
or something. Not
a
skateboard.
Back in the late 2000s, okay. I skateboarded. I had a blind skateboard. I was a fucking weird kid. I felt like I could relate to him.
I skateboarded in Walmart down the aisle one time, and I almost broke my head. So I never got onto I never really got into it like that. But Peter wasn't into it either.
No, he wasn't into it. But my boy definitely played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It was like I'm all
like a pro.
He took that fad. I feel like that's a defense of my character right there.
How do you guys feel about straying away from Peter Parker and jumping into the Spider-Man discussion?
Sure, let's go.
I'm gonna win that one too.
So you didn't win the last one.
What an ass! What an asshole! Sir, you didn't win the last one. Well, you sure fucking didn't either, buddy. You want to call it a stalemate until we get to the
end? The fans. Actually, I should put a poll up while we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So Derrick started the last one. Zach, while I put this poll up, go ahead and spew your bullshit.
Oh, he does it every time. Okay. So I want to take a couple of different points, and y'all can interject where you feel necessary, because we're all going to go in a giant 180, 360, whatever the hell that is. We're going to go in a circle. That's a 360. Okay. Obviously, I am not Peter Parker. So here we go. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man showed us something that both of your Spider-Men have not. It's actually the POV from the eyes of Spider-Man. We got to see a lot of first-person web slinging. I'm not saying that's a make or break factor, but I do think that it was a very bold choice in terms of director style and what they wanted to animate / film into the movie itself. I think that gave us a kind of viewpoint as to what he's seeing. Instead of just these amazing cool shots, he's actually doing a lot of parkour, a lot of agility. And not only that, not only those shots play into factor as to why Andrew's probably my favorite. Spider-Man terms, his wit in terms of what he was doing, his comebacks, his little quips he was saying to all his enemies, that is true to essence Spider-Man. One of his first crimes, he stopped that gunman. He goes, "Oh, sorry," and just pins him against the wall. Mm-hmm. He's dropping quips left and right. That is the Spider-Man I know and love. Earth 616, Ultimate, Superior. We're talking all kinds of Spider-Man here. Spider-Verse in general. Spider-Man is always witty. He's always smart on the comebacks. We got to see that with Lizard. He's also ingenious on how he is Spider-Man. When he's tracking down the Lizard, he knows he's hiding in the sewers. Instead of going straight detective mode, he decides to do what a natural spider does and set a vibration trap so he knows where the Lizard is coming from. Not only that,
corny as fuck.
What did he say? What did he say? I'm sorry, it's so minuscule I can't hear it because I'm actually having good ideas flow out of me right now. In terms of that,
bunch of bullshit. Hold on. I seriously don't mean to interrupt you. Polls up if you guys want to go repost it. I tagged you guys in it. Have your friends, family, fans,
I'm
followers.
on my phone. What do you expect me to do here?
Get out of luck, big dog.
I'll repost it after this, and we'll shoot the shit later. What I'll say though, going into it, is something that I feel like all of our Spider-Man did, and this is not helping my argument solely. This is also assisting you guys, which don't expect that shit to happen often. Okay?
Hey, Derek, I think this is the third time he said that when he started a point. Am I wrong?
It's the second or third. It's the second or third, but they have been good points though. So I welcome it.
In defense of our picks.
Yeah. I welcome it.
That was he's losing, so he's
okay. Fuck LJ. He's got a Venom poster in the back of his background. Show your shirt. Show your shirt, LJ.
He did have a good Venom.
We know you love Spider-Man 3. You don't have to admit it. You don't have to be ashamed of it anymore.
You should be.
Accept it. Embrace it.
You should be ashamed of that one because that was trash.
You should. Well, yeah. I mean,
we'll get to
Gwen
the film.
Stacy is also ass. By the way, don't even get me started.
You leave Bryce Dallas
to
Howard.
The actress. She's amazing. I love her. She's in a lot of shit.
Bryce Dallas Howard is a wonderful woman. Okay,
I don't doubt that. But her as Gwen Stacy sucks more weenie than a $5 hooker. Okay, you know what I'm saying here?
Did you have a point you were trying to make?
I was. You interrupted me with your dumbass comments. So listen. What I was getting to is Andrew, and this is for both of us. No, me and Derek. Fuck you, LJ. So our Spider-Man deal with grief better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was, and I'm not taking away from Holland. I'm not taking away from Tobey, but I am saying that Andrew's Garfield, his portrayal of grief and overcoming that. Look, you can say what you want about my movies. Fuck the script. Who cares about that? Very end of mine, the second one, when he's about to bitch slap Rhino with a manhole cover. We got to see him deal with the death of Gwen Stacy, overcome at that point in time his grief. And that ending scene alone, the child, the child who's dressed up as Spider-Man steps out in front of Rhino. That is what Spider-Man is about. It's an amazing scene. That's a fantastic scene, and I'll always thank Andrew for that.
Zach, in defense of your film, and we're going to talk about films later, but I do want to say this: out of all of the different Spider-Man films, the best, most emotional, and I'm going to even say maybe the best written scene came from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It didn't make the final cut, but it was a deleted scene. It's when Peter is at the graveyard and his father comes in. Yeah, dude. That scene destroys me. That's what I wanted those films to be.
Well,
you know what I mean? I wanted that emotion. That was amazing.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm in agreement with you because, like, in that universe, it's very complex. His parents were like spies. It's this whole fucking thing. But
that was weird.
It's weird as shit. I'm not gonna even lie. That's the negative to mine because that's like a side story. What'd you say?
I said that scene was powerful.
Oh, exceptionally. But I'll say my scene that I feel like just obviously, and it's very mainstream, but it does stand out, is Gwen Stacy's death. That whole scene was shot so beautifully, and
That was
everybody
very well
who
done.
knew the comics
Yeah.
knew Green Goblin throws that bitch off a bridge in the
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
We knew what was coming. We knew what was going to happen. I was praying that they would take a high road and just let her live for the sake of Peter. But obviously, no, they want the character to deal with grief. And that's what makes him become Spider Man. You have that kid standing there. Spider Man represents, you want to talk about previous episodes, LJ, hope. Spider Man is nothing but hope. Mr.
Yeah,
Anti Henry Cavill as Superman.
we're all
That
sitting here. Hey, man, what are you calling me out for? We're all talking about how great Spider-Man is.
No, to hell with you and your hate for Henry Cavill. Listen, I will defend that man till the day I die. Even if it's a different universe, different podcast, different hero. Okay. What I'll say is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man dealt with the emotional impact of grief better than Tobey and better than Tom. Tom had me edge of my seat, run for my money. But Tobey never. I've never felt.
I never felt Tobey's either.
Mary Jane did Peter dirty. That was heartbreaking.
Mary Jane will do anybody dirty. You're brave enough to try.
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie though. That made more sense for that film for her to do that. But I will agree with you that Tobey's did not have that emotional connection with grief. I didn't feel his whatsoever.
I will say, in his defense, the only time I have the most minimal amount of empathy with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in terms of actually feeling sorrow is when he lost Ben at the beginning. And that's your first film. You can't just lay it on thick and then take it away completely.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think also,
I mean, there was crisis in Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. He had ED. I mean, what do you want? He even calls it a wet block and No Way Home. What do you want?
Zach, let's let Derrick talk. We've been going at it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that though. He it was Tobey's portrayal. I think the way I rank it, it's Tom, Andrew, Tobey. But
the most trash shit I've ever heard.
Nah, man, I'm sorry. I can't rock with it. Now, if you're talking about the portrayal of Spider-Man as a character,
talking about Spider-Man.
So as Spider-Man, his was the least believable. Tobey's was the least believable because I mean, look, I'll tell you what, from the beginning, he looked like he had the muscle already. Like you just pound clothes onto him to make him look skinnier or whatever, and then take them off to reveal
Nobody's
the muscles,
looking
right?
at Tobey Maguire like, oh, that dude's buff.
No, but I'm
150 pounds.
But no, I'm saying no, but he was muscular at that point, though. I'm not saying he was built, but he was muscular.
Right. Okay.
My issue though is that his Spider-Man, I just couldn't. I bought it as a kid, but I can't buy it as an adult. Like it didn't age well. Now
I'll say this. I agree that I think Tobey was the better Peter, and I don't think he was as great of a Spider-Man. I think he had great moments as Spider-Man. I think he had great moments as Spider-Man. But that suits. I like Andrew's quippiness that Spider-Man should have. But I cut you off, Derrick. I'm sorry.
No, but Tom had that quip as well. Like, I mean, his introduction into the MCU. I know we're not talking about Avengers. I'm not going to go there. But his introduction into the MCU, right off bat, you saw like as soon as he jumped into the scene, right? You see the look in his eye. That's the only Spider-Man that gives you the emotion in the goggles, right? Which you're used to seeing in like the cartoons or the comic books, which I didn't even know. I was like, wow. Go ahead.
He's also the only Spider-Man that was fully CGI'd in his first scene and introduction.
Fair. That's fair. that's fair. But
Zach said our Spider-Men are real.
Gang, gang,
but
baby.
I will say though, his suit. I know you're. I like Tobey Maguire's suit when we're talking about like a classic look,
Right.
but Tom's suit to me, I think Andrew's suit and Tom's first suit were like they were right there. To me, those are like tied one for one. I just like Toby's as a nostalgic look because that's the first live action one. But if I'm looking at the suits to say which ones are my favorite, Tom and Andrews had the better ones to me.
Tom's last suit in No Way Home, the ending is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite.
Best Spider-Man suit. I'll agree with you on that, Derek.
Yeah, beautiful. 100%. So, but he also has multiple suits. Like he's been able to go through multiple looks. So
like I just said, he's had 37 suits.
Yeah,
and
that,
honestly, we're talking about Spider-Man, so that is my biggest issue with Tom Holland is that his Spider-Man cannot stand on his own.
Well, let me ask you this, because Spider-Man should have multiple suits, right? Because you can't keep patching up the same one over and over again.
I'm talking tech.
In tech, I agree that it benefits from tech.
And aside from that characters, he can't stand. He can't stand on his own. He needed Iron Man.
He couldn't stand on his own. Obviously, they're building into that.
They're building,
and I'm going to do that in Derek's defense because they are building an MCU with Spider-Man.
I can't debate what we don't. What we feel
what we don't know. I mean, that's understandable. But yes, LJ has a point. Mm-hmm. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has piggybacked off the current and established, or excuse me, not say current because we all know that happened. The previous MCU heroes.
Yes.
His No Way Home was his establishment. You had no movie prior to that where he was on his own as Spider-Man.
That's fair.
Whereas LJ and I both had established stories soloed. Right?
That's fair, but you also had origin stories. Tom just jumped.
He tells a hell of a story.
He just jumped right in.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The origin story aspect.
No, but I'm saying like you're talking about he's not being able to stand on his own. Like Tom jumped right into Civil War, and that's to piggyback off Iron Man. So I think you guys like your versions were able to stand on their own like that because they had the origin story and multiple films leading in. Tom came right in on Civil War. That was it.
Yeah,
that was it. And then right after that, and then you got to explain where he's going and how he's perfecting the suit and all that stuff and whatever. I actually found though that while you might look at Iron Man as a crutch for him, I kind of look at it as a great mentorship type of relationship where he's able to learn the things that Toby or Andrew were able to learn on during their introductions into their films. I think that was more like his origin.
When you look at that relationship, it's not Spider-Man, he's Iron Lad.
No. Well, I'm going to step in here. His relationship with Iron Man, and this has been said not just by me. I'm not going to take credit for saying this. This has been said by multiple people. I mean, around the world. His relationship with Robert Downey's Iron Man was his Uncle Ben, essentially.
That's exactly what it
was. That was MCU's way of telling his story.
Yes.
Right. His May became his Ben. His Iron Man was also a father figure to him.
Mm-hmm.
They took a different approach, which was refreshed. It was needed. It had to happen. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm giving that part to you.
Mm-hmm. And I'll give this too. Tom's Spider-Man has lost more than Andrew and Tobey has.
Significantly more.
Yes. The multiverse events that happen have impacted him significantly more than they have.
He also lost 5 years with the blip.
5 years,
right?
Yeah. Lost his world, his best friend, lost MJ, lost Ned.
Yeah,
that shit broke me. Not gonna lie. Him not saying a word to MJ because he knows what's going to happen with her and to her and for her if he decides to go back down that road again. Significant. It's a really well written story for them and their character arc. But once again, MJ was though she was in the movies, and I love Zendaya and we'll never talk bad about her because I think she's a phenomenal actress. I will say her in those movies she was an insignificant character. At the end of the day, she means nothing more than a love interest at the time, which will build him into the Spider-Man he will become. Right?
Can we also talk about the timeline of Tom's 3 movies? And this is stupid and makes zero sense of why they're so madly in love. Homecoming, they weren't together. They barely spoke. He was hooked on Liz. And then out of nowhere, that summer, now Liz just left 2 months ago. Now I'm madly in love, which high schoolers work that way.
I was about to say that's exactly how I was in high school.
I'll
you know how many women I loved and I thought was gonna be my wife.
I'll give you that. But 2 months later, he's now madly in love with Zendaya. He's buying her the Dahlia necklace. And she's finding out that he's Spider-Man. And then the end of Far From Home. Oh, now we're into the multiverse of it. You know what I mean? Now we're into No Way Home. So this time frame is 6 months. It doesn't feel as impactful or as important to me.
I never even thought about that.
Dude, he stumped me too.
I didn't even think about it like that, honestly.
Oh, that's a good point, LJ.
That's news to me, man. I give you that
one. That's a good one.
When you look at Tobey or Andrew, you had Tobey fawning over his MJ since they were in kindergarten, all the way through college and past. And
which is trash. You couldn't speak before that.
What do you mean?
If he knew her that long,
yeah.
Look, I'll put it like this: when I was a kid, I had a crush on someone, right, that I knew for years.
Right.
I shot my shot. It was an awkward shot. It was a very awkward shot, but I shot my shot early, right? Multiple times I shot my shot. You telling me he didn't shoot his shot until he was in high school?
I can't because that Peter Parker was so nerdy, so uncomfortable, so scared of women in general, scared of people in general. Yeah, I could see him never doing anything more than looking in her direction. They know each other. They're neighbors. They were in school together. They're aware of each other.
They're neighbors. That's more of a reason to talk.
But they're neighbors in Queens. Not just
that's right. I am looking at it from a southern perspective. I forget y'all don't talk.
Yeah, hold up. Howdy, neighbor. How you doing? You want some fucking peach cobbler? We ain't got that up in the Bronx.
Okay, I'll give you that. No.
New York. We ain't got that hospitality. We got, hey, we're neighbors.
I'll give you that.
And Derrick, I don't want to hear y'all. You're from Jersey. Don't say y'all.
I'm from Newark, but I came down here when I was 2 years old. So
LJ,
I can't.
He's a Southerner.
I'm a Southerner. Yeah, I can't. Because when I went to New York for the first time, I can't begin to tell you how many times I almost went off on people for bumping into me. I'm like, what the?
You asked for sweet tea, and they gave you fountain tea.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I am so tired of going to a restaurant. I have been insulted so many times by going and asking for when I say iced tea, I'm thinking it's going to be sweet.
Iced tea. Hell yeah. Sorry, Mom.
The fuck are we talking about?
Coming out
no,
Tobey.
You want some iced tea.
That's all I'm saying, man. Tobey couldn't get any sweet tea, bro. Like it was just
what I want?
It's all bitter. Like
Joe's Pizza from Spider-Man 2. That's what I want. I want it swung through the skyline.
And that was stupid too.
Tell us how you feel, Derek.
You're delivering pizza on a moped when you can swing to get that done faster.
And how obvious would it be that, oh, wait, he's Spider-Man's delivering? That's an iconic line. Fuck you.
Pizza time.
Yo, he almost died because he almost got ran over and everything. Like, come on, man.
Listen, if Spider-Man is out here delivering pizzas, how long is he going to be like, wait a minute, who works at Joe's Pizzeria?
Have we not seen him take advantage of his powers before?
Pay attention to that.
They're not paying attention to him.
Derek's got a point.
They're not paying attention to him. So if
Donnell Rollins was paying attention.
How about this? Well, that's when he was there. That's when he was there. You're telling me he didn't have to get into the suit to go deliver the pizza.
Fact.
What does he do in all the time?
Swinging through the city in no suit.
He runs into the alley to change into a suit. Does he not?
But why did he change in the janitor's closet?
That was awkward as hell too. That's what I'm saying. Like it makes no sense. That scene makes no sense, bro. That makes no sense. He could have delivered this pizza and been the best employee in terms of record time, swinging around as Peter Parker. No one would have seen it.
What did Dr. Connors say about Peter?
You should apply yourself more.
He should have applied himself. You cannot tell me that you cannot do this job to the best of your ability with the tools that you have been given.
He got shit to do, man. He ain't worried about no pizza.
Obviously, he doesn't care.
Is a mathematic, scientific, everything genius. The motherfucker could have got a job. It ain't that hard.
As an intern somewhere.
Pizza boy. I'm sorry, he's dating a Broadway actress and he's working as a pizza boy when he's scientifically
makes no sense.
Than almost Einstein himself. No,
makes no sense.
Didn't date a Broadway actress. He didn't date her until she was off Broadway, fired because she couldn't sing. Her voice didn't carry past the second row. She was fired. She was
First off, that's funny coming from an actor judging another actor in a movie. You know, I'm just saying. I'm not. Don't point fingers here. I'm just saying. You shitting on MJ. Homegirl was there for him till the day he died. He didn't bring her flowers. He didn't make it to work. He didn't make it to her fucking audition. He didn't make it to her play. Harry came in and swooped. Oh, yeah, you're going to talk about how Harry literally stole Peter Parker's girlfriend? Has never happened.
And his Hobgoblin wasn't even Hobgoblin.
It was called The New Goblin by Sam Raimi. That's not even a fucking character.
Trash. I don't get that. And the suit was trash too.
Yeah, but your Hobgoblin isn't Hobgoblin either.
No.
He's a bald friend of Tom's. I mean, what do you want to? You can't really throw stones. If
terrible, yo.
Hey, look, I'm gonna take my shots where I can take them.
Fair enough.
You know, look, if I get hit while going for a shot, I'll get hit.
Let's talk about side characters. You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
We go a little deeper into that. We go, Zach, you and I had Harry. Your Harry was fun. Dane DeHaan was
my Harry made me want to literally unalive myself.
So you're taking the L on Harry. I respect it.
I am fully taking, but here's my Adam Bomb. His relationship with Gwen Stacy was more real than either of y'all's because it was actually real.
You're skipping ahead. We're talking best friends right now.
You said side characters. Gwen Stacy's a side character. What do you want me to do here? You're shitting on me if I do. You're shitting on me if I don't.
Derek and I haven't talked about Ned. We got your stupid ass Dane DeHaan out the way. Now we're talking Ned versus Harry versus the real Harry.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely.
There's no Harry in his universe.
I just said Ned and my hair and the real Harry.
The real Harry. I still have a Harry. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but you can go ahead and speculate all you want.
Harry's a fraud, dog. I don't know who that man was. That was not Harry.
Oh God.
Reptiles. So Ned and James Franco's Harry. Who do you think is the better? Ned's the man in the chair. We're not talking about who's the better man in the chair. Who? All right, I'm gonna take the L on this one. But who was the better friend? James Franco's a terrible friend.
James Franco was a horrible friend. That's not even a friend.
Oh,
that dude used him. He used him to get the Mary Jane.
What do you expect him to be like? Not his father? Does the apple fall very far away from the tree? What? I'm sorry, his father.
Spitting image.
Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, like
chef's kiss.
De la crop.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: James Franco auditioned to play Peter Parker. How would y'all felt if he?
Hell no.
Was Peter?
No, I would have actually. So we're taking. Are we taking James Franco now? Because I think we all are familiar with media, pop culture.
Right.
Franco's under, or he has been under allegations now. I don't want to speak well of him.
He's admitted to some of it. He's admitted to some of it. We don't support any of his misactions.
See, right. So this is what I'm saying. James Franco at the time as Spider-Man, yes, I could see it, but it doesn't mean
of course you're saying that he's good looking like Andrew Garfield.
Pretty boy. Yeah, I don't want a pretty
that's
boy.
That's not the point. Oh, he's gonna try to get a child pedophile on me? What the fuck? Big moves here from LJ. No big deal. Okay, cool. I see how we're going. No harm.
Yeah, I walked him right into that, bro.
I did. Here's what I'll say. Honestly, persona-wise, quip-wise, yes, I could have seen it. Actor-wise, I don't support what he has done. I condone everything he has done. He's a shitty human being for doing so. But I will say, would I have seen it any differently? It depends. It really depends on director style, how they decide to, write the character. And that's what it comes down between all of us. Who writes who writes what? Obviously, Tobey has a special place in my heart, and I'm not going to admit him the best on this podcast.
I know that's right. No, but you admitted it 5 minutes before we started.
Hey, how about you suck my dick? That's not how that goes. Okay, we defend each other's things through thick and thin. What I'll say is, I grew up with Tobey. Obviously, we've all grown up with Tobey. We were children when we saw that, in some age or another. We were children. We watched that. That was a hero to us. Obviously, we're going to correlate. We're going to respond. We're going to empathize with that character. It does not mean it's the best objectively. Right. Think about that. Right. Objectively, if you're breaking this down bit by bit, that's why we are arguing what we argue when it comes down to it. Derrick,
I agree with that.
LJ, y'all have your points. We're all making a stance. It doesn't mean we're right. It doesn't mean we're wrong. It means we have our opinions on it.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm right.
OJ, once again, your background proves wrong, but I will continue with the podcast per usual.
You love that poster, Doug.
I do love the poster, but once again, not about Spider-Man. It's about
that's Spider-Man.
The pre-com of Spider-Man, aka the symbiote.
I don't like that.
No, that portrayal. That's not the portrayal. I know that's not, but I'm saying your
portrayal. We got fucking dude from That So 70s show,
bro. That's so. And he was pranked.
You combine it. That's so Raven and that's.
That 70s show. Yeah.
But okay, fuck me. I didn't watch it. Listen, I'll say I respect the actor. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Great actor.
I'm blanking on the name right now. OJ, help me out.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. I respect him. I love him. I really do. He appreciates the comics. He appreciates the source material. But you can obviously, as an actor, I feel I'm not an actor. You gentlemen, I feel like you are more versed than me. But I will say, as an actor, you can't look at yourself in the mirror with your body form, your body shape, and go, I fit the perfect Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock was muscular. Eddie Brock he was a photojournalist. He nailed that part on the head. And I loved him as Venom just because it's Topher Grace, and I appreciate the respect he has towards the comics.
I liked his performance as Eddie Brock. I didn't have anything negative to say about his acting ability in the role.
No. It's the physicality, because obviously
I didn't buy him as Eddie.
Right.
You didn't like
I didn't buy him as Eddie.
Derrick, so if you don't mind, explain why you don't like him as Eddie Brock, and just kind of emphasize it.
Well, basically just what you said.
While we're here, we'll talk about all the villains from all the films, but
for sure. But just like you said, that Eddie was this big muscular guy that he had a specific presence as Eddie Brock that Topher just does not have. He does not have that. And he not have, do he have frosted tips, or he have blonde hair? Forget which one it was.
I mean, he had blonde hair, but you could tell it's that NSYNC style.
NSYNC,
like, it's gonna be me. Like, champ, calm down there a little bit. You know?
I did like that. I did like it. It's just everything about him. Like I like Topher as well. I'm a big fan of the '70s show, but that was not it. I just kept thinking of him being in that basement every time I heard him talk. And it just did not work. It did not work.
I sent this clip to Zach a couple months ago when it aired, but Topher Grace has a show on ABC now called Home Economics, and they did a episode where they were at Disneyland, and now Disneyland has all the Marvel characters, and there's a scene where they're taking a picture with Thor, and his brother's like, "Oh, there's Spider-Man, you want to go take a picture with him?" And Topher's like, "No."
Right.
Nice.
And once again, Topher Grace, astounding actor. I think he's done well in pretty much everything. Predators is what stands out for me. He's astounding. He's phenomenal. I love him. I cannot talk bad about him. But I will say, Eddie Brock, as the physicality of Eddie Brock, he didn't have the presence to pose as a threat. You saw Venom, and Topher's very smaller build as a gentleman. And I'll say it like this: the symbiote on him couldn't have done shit.
Wrong host.
I'm just saying, what are you going to become? A fucking spaghetti noodle and slap Spider-Man across the face? Like, what are you going to do?
One of those blow-up things in front of the used car lots?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, let's talk about villains, okay? So, LJ, let's start with you. Green Goblin and Doc Ock. Let's even arguably Sandman. We're not going to include Venom because Venom's kind of that little.
But also
Sandman does not need included.
No, hold up. Before we get away from Venom, Venom should not have been in that movie. Sam Raimi didn't want him in that movie. The studio stepped in and forced him in there, and it was at a point where it was like it kind of had to be rushed because they had a date that they needed to start production.
Well, agreed.
Right? So what I'm saying is, like, that Spider-Man 3 could have been really great with Sandman as the main villain if they could have given Sandman more time.
No, and I agree, because I feel like we all have known the Sam Raimi, what was supposed to be the ultimate 4 films of Spider-Man's history. Sam Raimi was supposed to do a Vulture and Carnage movie as well. Jim Carrey was supposed to have been Carnage, like Cletus Cassidy.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
That would have been better than Woody Harrelson's.
Yeah, that would have.
I agree. No,
that would have. Yeah.
And I feel like Sam Raimi, if they would have given him a little bit more creative control, he could have really brought out Carnage the way we wanted to see it.
I still really want to see Old Boy. I think Derek and I talked about this, but I still want to see old boy from Shameless and Gotham play Carnage. What's his name? The redhead dude.
Oh,
Oh,
Ian,
Cameron,
Cameron Monaghan.
Cameron Monaghan. Yeah,
That's
Star Wars.
that he would be phenomenal.
brilliant Carnage.
Yes.
That's the perfect casting.
His
Cal
Joker was
Oh,
just
yeah.
so that was
Yeah.
amazing.
That's a talented dude.
Amazing.
He because Joker, right? We're
Yeah.
talking about from Gotham when he played,
Gotham.
or excuse me, he didn't play Joker, but he played whatever alias he went
He
under.
played the Joker.
Phenomenal. I'm not doubting that, but going back to the villain, so we don't get too off topic here. Derek, I'm going to let you talk about yours, but LJ, I want to really focus on yours because I think yours are the hardest hitting villains in the trilogy.
I agree.
Spider-Man 1 Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is the best villain of all of the Spider-Man films. Now, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is a part of the MCU. He is the best MCU villain as well.
I'm not doubting.
Wait, whoa.
I said what I said.
I'm not going to go against that.
I said what I said. We're not here to debate it.
My favorite actor. Not only that, I think that nobody else will ever, and I do mean ever, top his performance as Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. He is the epitome of what Green Goblin should be, even without the mask. That's why they didn't have him with the mask. He was so fantastic on his own facial feature structure. Derek, please give me a point against this.
No, I agree that his Goblin was phenomenal. I loved it. Of all the Spider-Man villains, I agree that one is the best one. However,
go ahead. Sorry.
When you talk about the MCU, you talk about MCU villains. What we've seen from his Goblin, I'm not looking at that and saying he's the best MCU villain. He's not.
Wrong.
He's Spider-Man 1 is canon. So you take Spider-Man.
No, I agree. But Killmonger and Thanos, to me, are the best villains in the MCU.
I think that's the three.
And that's the big three. I'll agree with LJ. Green Goblin, to me, to LJ, to you, might be different. But to me,
also,
not only did we grow up with him as the main big scary guy in our lives, his Goblin was the only one to ever show the ability of Tom Holland's true spider sense. Tom Holland,
yes, that's true. That is true.
When everybody's there, he was the only character. That's three different franchises. We're talking Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom's. All their villains are there. Toby's villain, Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, was the only one to trigger the spider sense into something we've never been able to see on screen before. We've seen spider sense. We've seen the quick look away and then he dodges a fucking glider or swings out the way, whatever he needs to do.
Yep.
We've never seen it to where he can look and he's like, one of these guys is the imposter, very Among Us type. And he knows it's the Goblin.
Yeah.
That is how much power that character has. I will give that for LJ. He has the best villains. No doubt.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, for sure. I'll agree. But when you're talking about the whole MCU, that's where I push back. That's my only pushback.
We're not here to discuss the MCU.
Right. That's not part of the argument. As much as I would love to hear you out,
I know
that is not part of the major argument here.
I know, but LJ did bring it up. That's why I'm arguing it.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
But will you agree, even if he's not your one, he's top three?
I will agree that Goblin is the best Spider-Man villain we have seen.
No, I'm talking for the MCU. Is he top three for MCU? Because
he'd be top three. He'd be top three. Yeah, he'd be top three.
Fair enough.
MCU villains have been trash.
He'd be top three. He'd be top three. Yeah.
I do want to give David. I always say this. David Tennant's Kilgrave in Jessica Jones on Netflix. Phenomenal.
You talking about Purple Man?
Oh my God, I forgot about that one.
That performance. Whew,
Actually, hold up. You got to talk about Kingpin too. That's a whole.
Oh,
That's a whole other conversation.
I'm
Vincent
forgetting his name.
D'Onofrio.
I'm
Yeah.
butchering his name.
oh,
He is the
Yeah.
epitome of what Kingpin should be. Now,
Yes.
don't get me wrong. Forgive me, I'm forgetting the actor's name. Homeboy from Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Green Mile. What's his name?
Michael
Shit.
Clark Duncan.
He was a great Kingpin. I saw that
He
movie
was.
as a child. I said
Yeah.
he's phenomenal. But Vincent does just such a. He does the classic Kingpin take, right?
He's able to take advantage of what technology allows now.
Yo,
Correct.
what's spinning behind you?
Oh,
What's
Eagles
spinning?
helmet.
Well, I thought it was a Power Rangers helmet.
Get out of here.
It better have been Jason David Frank, R.I.P. my boy.
I'm sorry. He doesn't. He's a Jets fan, so he can't relate to winning. Sorry.
I hate talking sports with you, bro. I hate it so much.
You should.
Peter Parker don't like sports.
You
Fuck
should.
that shit. Get it out of here right now. Oh, speaking of which, though, small talk.
You know who would have played sports? Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, because he's cool and shit. He would have played sports.
He would have played
sports.
He would
What are you talking about?
He would have been a great shooting guard.
What is he going to be in Frisbee golf?
Nah, he'd have been a great shooting.
Did you not see him shooting baskets?
He'd have been a great shooting guard.
Oh my god, shooting baskets?
Yeah, he'd have been a great shooting guard.
No. While y'all are busy thinking my boy's shooting baskets on things, he's shooting loads on people's faces because he's amazing.
Why are you so sexual, bro? Why are you so sexual?
Welcome to me. That's me in a nutshell, my boy.
Sexual in and of itself. Welcome to me. What's wrong with you?
That should be a podcast in itself. Welcome to me. And it's just me talking. All right. Let's talk about villains. We talked about a little bit. We talked about Green Goblin. We talked about how much of a powerhouse he is. Let's talk about Doc Ock on LJ's side and kind of run it through our villains. Doc Ock, Otto Octavius, and the Tobey verse, whatever you want to call it. You couldn't have paired a better villain on the second movie than Otto Octavius.
Yes.
Now, phenomenal acting. It's a shame I don't know the actor's name
Alfred Molina.
I would know him.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, there you go. He did the most phenomenal job. It could not have been played better by anybody else. We'll go to Derrick's villains. Derrick, you want to introduce your villains real quick, and then we'll talk about why they're great.
Oh, he had great villains.
Talk about it. You got two.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so Vulture. I liked Vulture. Look at
him struggling. Look at him struggling.
No. I'm not defending it. I liked him, but I didn't like him at the same time.
I loved Vulture, baby. You ain't gonna tell me my boy Michael Keaton coming in as a Spider-Man villain when he's been Batman. I'm gonna love it either way.
That's what threw it for me, because I was like,
really? The best scene is that car ride scene.
Oh no, for sure. That was very well done. Very well done.
That was better than any moment of him suited up.
Yeah, no, that was phenomenal. I think Michael Keaton killed that role, of course. But I would have liked
Morbius?
Huh?
Even in Morbius?
I almost said it, bro.
He knew where I was going. Your shit in Morbius was ass. I don't know where you're going with it, but
I didn't watch Morbius.
And Zach, what are you talking about?
Too bad. Your boy's in there.
Yeah.
Morbius takes place in Andrew Garfield's universe. So,
yes,
what are you talking about?
It does.
Is there anything you want to say?
It does. But if I'm not mistaken, LJ, was the Tobey Maguire one not on the poster?
Yeah. That's why it makes no sense. But
so
also,
all three of ours are connected in there.
How's mine connected?
Huh?
How's mine connected?
That was Sony's. But
I mean, it was Sony that put it out, but my Spider-Man is never mentioned.
Watch the movies. It's the same cinematography, same building, same everything. And if
Merry
you look
fucking Christmas. You want a similar
at
director style?
and if you look and if you watched Andrew Garfield's movies closely, you got M. Morbius there in the Oscorp files. You know,
That's
it's all
true.
there.
That's
It's
true.
all
Yeah.
Ooh,
connected.
you got
You
me
know,
on
you
that.
got
Motherfucker.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
true.
All right.
you
All
got
right.
that. You got Andrew Garfield in No Way Home talking about he stopped pulling his punches. And then if you look at Morbius with the Spider-Man poster, murderer spray painted all over it. He stopped pulling his punches. He started killing motherfuckers.
No, first off, that was Raimi's Spider-Man on the poster.
On the yeah, no, the picture was, but I'm saying that was in Morbius. So I
Morbius
that's
is,
why
we'll never know because they didn't clarify that. We'll leave
That's
it at
Sony for
that.
you.
and also we never got that terrible Sinister Six spinoff that they were trying to pull at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
What do you want me to say? That I'm God, I can control what I want my Spider-Man to do? No.
I want you to accept another L.
Another L. Oh, Derek, go ahead. Continue with your conversation before I shit talk him.
So
we took over. Sorry.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I think in terms of villains, I will give it to you. I don't think that Holland has the best ones. If you're not including like Thanos and that whole thing. If you're not going to include that, then I can't speak too much into his villains. But I don't know. I think I what was that? No Way Home. All three of them were together.
Yeah.
And you had all of our villains.
That's all of them. I think. Let me not get into that yet because I don't want to get ahead. But I'll give it to you. I think his villains were okay. I don't think they were the best ones that they've had. But I will say against both of yours, LJ.
Mostly his shit on his.
I'm mainly going on yours.
No, I got one.
Three takes you all the way outside of Goblin and
two bad movies.
3 just excludes the ranking for you. Zach, Electro was trash.
Hey! First off,
he was trash, and Rhino was trash. Rhino was absolute garbage because that suit. Hey, I love Paul Giamatti.
You want a guy in a latex bodysuit?
If you have a guy as a crack. If you have a guy as a crocodile, why can't you have a guy as a rhino?
Dog,
as a crocodile, he's called the lizard. You dumbass.
Lizard, whatever. If you have him there, why is it that you can't do? Why is it you can't do him as a rhino? Why can't you do that?
Because it was never about him being a rhino. It's about him having a suit that made him a rhino. That was in the comics. Right. You should know this.
But his rhino was trash.
What would you have done? Let me ask you this.
I wouldn't have put Rhino in the movie.
Huh?
Rhino would not have been in the movie. Rhino didn't belong in that movie.
If you had done Rhino, what would have been done?
He would not have been casted. I'm telling you. Like, I would not have put him in the movie. At all.
Okay.
Because he like LJ said, he added nothing to the movie except the ending.
That ending is exceptionally powerful. What do you want me to say here?
And you could have put anybody in that position to where a child is in danger. No. To where a child is in danger.
With his 5 arms.
To where a child is in danger and Spider-Man has to nut up and save him.
Oh,
you could have put you could put any villain in that position. Rhino is replaceable.
Oh God.
Rhino's replaceable. That Rhino is replaceable.
What would have made sense as Rhino though? Because he showed up in the multiverse when Doctor Strange was closing the shed as the OG Rhino with the latex suit. What would you have wanted instead of a mechanical Rhino?
The latex suit. If you're gonna have to have Rhino.
Oh God.
If you need to have Rhino, give me the latex suit. I don't want to see this
I disagree with that.
Robotic. The suit threw me off. The suit just threw me off. I'm sorry.
That made more sense logically, though.
Logically. It threw me off. It just threw me off. I can't.
You can't explain how the mechanic suit threw you off?
I can't explain his rhino. Not in that. No. Listen, not in that film. I can't explain his rhino being there. I just can't. What's his purpose?
Hey, Derek.
Yeah.
Can you talk to him about his Green Goblin too, please?
Oh God. I was trying to take attention away.
I'll let you do that. I'm trying to be the nicer guy.
Don't do not.
I'm trying to at least keep it even keeled.
I asked politely.
You asked politely, but you can explain it.
I'll
let you finish. Go ahead though.
No, go. No, I'm done. I'm done. The rhino made no sense.
What the fuck was Dane DeHaan doing, Mel? What was he doing? And I'm not even gonna blame the writing. I'm sure Dane DeHaan is a wonderful human being. I'm sure he's a great dude. Aside from Chronicler, I'm not a fan of his work.
Yeah.
That Harry, that Green Goblin was trash, bro. Every second that man was on screen, and we're going to talk about emo. That man was emo.
Oh, he was emo to the nth degree. Like it made no sense.
He was emo, sliding into Peter Parker's ear, talking about, "I need Spider-Man's blood. Give me that." That's creepy.
You know, sometimes
it was predatorial.
They just kind of get it. What way they gotta get it?
I'm good on.
Look, so I'll say this. I don't know the actor for many other roles other than
He was in the staircase.
I thought that was Harry Potter.
No.
All I'll say is he was not.
That was very well done. I had to think about that one.
He was not my first choice.
He shouldn't have been in the studios either.
He should have been the second choice. All right. It's nothing against the actor. I don't know their other works, but what I felt like I was watching was like Green Goblin got thrown into the movie of Warm Bodies, you know, the zombie film with all the love and I can feel my heart grow again. Like Grinch shit.
Yeah.
It felt very edgy for no reason. He didn't even look like Goblin. He didn't act like Goblin. I mean, maybe have acted like Goblin, but not like he felt like sub-Goblin. He didn't feel like Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or New Goblin, even fucking Dave Franco's version, but he felt very low par on that. And it's not to criticize his acting, it's to criticize the role it was not meant to be.
Aside from the acting, what was y'all's opinion on what they were doing with the Green Goblin? Very different than the serum that they had in Tobey's movies. They were growing scales and shit. What was this sickness? And I know that there's comics of that. Into the Spider-Verse, you saw that. You saw it in the Spider-Man game. I don't like that in any of it. I don't love that story. But I really dislike how they did it in the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll say this before you both, Derek and LJ, shit on me, is they did not explain that at fucking all. It's a mysterious illness. It could be fucking AIDS for all we know. You know?
Yeah. It was almost like that scale thing on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. Grayscale. Like
Grayscale,
we don't know what's going on.
It was the scale from Scooby-Doo too, when they're from the pterodactyl.
It was never explained what he was suffering from, lupus, this or that, these or those. He had this fucking glider and it injected him and made him slightly better, but more crazy. Like, that's a piss poor character to build on. I feel like they shouldn't have had the Green Goblin in the second Spider-Man, seeing as it's his literally biggest arch nemesis, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. Um, he didn't belong there. The reason they added him was for Gwen's death. I know it was to add more impact to the movie itself. I get that kind of sort of, but there's a better way to incorporate that. I will agree to that. I'm not going to sit here and say my Green Goblin's the best because fuck no, he ain't. Willem Dafoe's where it's at. I'll say that, no doubt in my mind. But I will say, like, they did try something new. They were trying to appeal to more of a younger audience with a more soap opera ish
I
Green
don't know.
Goblin.
which made no
Most
Whoever
sense.
young
decided
audience.
that, hear me out. Whoever decided that
Needs to
is
never
a
work again.
fucking moron.
Yeah, they
I'm
need to
sorry.
never work in film again.
Yes, sir, ma'am, who, them, they. If you decide to work in that, I do not like the way you write things. Fuck you. Get off my I don't want to pay money to watch this.
Now,
Yeah.
if we get the Amazing Spider-Man 3, it's got to be new writers.
Mhm.
I'm not against the Mark Webb. Was that his name? Mark Webb, the
A bit of
director.
irony, yes. I
Yeah.
think
I'm not against him directing a third Amazing Spider-Man. But do you think that they, creative team wise, get them all the fuck out of there and start something new?
yes.
When I say
And
something new,
here's
I
why.
mean a
Boys,
new.
I'm running super low on power right now.
Yeah, we got to wrap up. We're going. How long are we, Derek?
I have no clue.
Yeah, we're
I
I'm
don't have the
running
timer on this.
100% right now.
about an hour and a half.
We'll say it like this. I will say that if they were to make it three, yes, the director could come back, but you have to understand this is an audience game. This is not a let's take creative control, put a new spin on it. Nobody wants that, really. We want something new, but we want something also original. We want something familiar. We want something that we haven't seen before in film, but we want to see again if need be. You know what I'm saying? Like we want the originality, but we also want a new spin to it. We don't want something so far fetched it's not going to be fucking believable. That Green Goblin was. I don't know
What
what to say. That is my downfall. My
what
Electro,
new?
though, regardless of him being blue, was a plus.
Electro was great in No Way Home.
He was better.
It,
He was hilarious.
phenomenal.
Doc
Yes.
Ock was hilarious
Yeah.
in No Way Home.
Yeah,
Um,
he was significantly better in that. And I love Jamie Foxx, but the teeth, the hair, all that stuff, the transformation,
Not the move.
none of that made sense. None of that made sense.
No.
And it's not on him, but at the same time,
Script once again. Yep.
it is on him too.
so we're running out of time, so we didn't really get to discuss in detail all the movies, but we've all seen No Way Home. We know where it ends. I think we should each take a second to say what we're hoping for next for our Spider-Man. Derek, we know Tom Holland has a definitive future. I tend to believe we're going to see Andrew and Tobey again. But Derek, you take it off. What would you like to see for Tom next?
Honestly, I'd love to see. I don't know if we're going to see it or not, but I would love to see his interaction with Miles Morales. Because that would actually set up for us to be able to move forward from Tom Holland's version at some point. Because that they're hinting at that anyway. Like they're not going to continue with Tom for another 10 years or so. Like it's just kind of
Think about it. The Civil War came out in 15, I think. So we're approaching it. We're approaching 10 years.
we are approaching 10 years, but I'm saying like we're not going to get 10 more years.
No.
So yeah, it's kind of like I don't think we're going to get that. But I would love it because Tom is old enough or young enough to play that role a little bit longer. But I don't think we're going to see him get old. So if you're going to have him come in and interact with Miles Morales, I would love to see Miles come in pretty soon, so that we could get like 3 more films with Tom, and whatever cameos he has, allow that to be that, but allow Miles to take the reins as the Spider-Man for the MCU moving forward.
Now, I'm of the opinion, at least for Spider-Man 4, that so Tom Holland lost Ned and MJ. They don't remember him. I I don't want them. I don't want Ned or MJ in Spider-Man 4. If you throw them right back in there and allow them to reconnect, that takes all the emotional stakes out
They're
of it.
going to though.
I'm sure they will.
I agree.
Yeah.
It ruins the ending of No Way Home. So
I
I would
agree.
like that for me. And I'm curious what you think, Derek. I would like them to keep MJ and Ned out, and not because I don't love them. I think they're great. I just I want to see Tom really be able to stand on his own, make new friends, new associates like Miles. I think this is a perfect opportunity with Peter
Mhm.
going to college. It would be changing things up a little bit for Miles, but if they,
Yeah.
maybe they're roommates in college, no, whatever. But I think that's the perfect opportunity for something new.
I agree.
Uh,
I agree. I agree.
Zach, what about you? What do you think is next
Um,
for?
Pardon me, I'm adjusting my camera. With
What do you
Garfield,
think our hope is next?
I'm sorry.
What do you think our hope is next?
Um, Truly, regardless of who is the best Spider-Man, I think Holland's going to carry the tradition. I think Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man has kind of, I think both of our Spider-Men have come to fruition. They have lived their lives. They've gotten the most complex situations out of their systems. They've kind of run through it. They've done their due diligence. Um, Really, with mine, I'm just hoping he finds some kind of inner peace with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. He did save MJ and No Way Home. I know we're not talking too much about that because we have limited time, but he did get that sort of second chance slash redemption with
Yeah.
MJ and saving her for the MCU 616 Peter, or MCU Peter. Um, really with what he decides to do afterwards, I can't say. I'm not the writer. You're not the writer. Derek's not the writer for his. We're
Hey,
all
I could be the writer. They just got to give me a call. I got ideas. I'm a writer. Let me
hey,
know.
hey,
Let me
dude,
know.
you and me both, Derek as well. I
Right.
think we could all write fucking shit that would sell. But my point
Most
is,
definitely.
I think Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man will be touched on somehow. I don't know how specifically, but the character has too much emotion built up and not
Mm.
enough grievance as it is. We talked about how he he was able to deal with the grievance, to deal with the grief itself, but I don't think it's fleshed out in the way it needs to be. I think that we all, as respective selective Spider-Man, have our own things we would want our characters to grow on. I
Mhm.
don't know if mine is going to be able to do that. It just
Yeah.
depends if Sony decides to pick it up, MCU, as well as Derek's or as well as LJ's. It's undefined, but I kind of do hope he had some kind of closure with saving LJ in comparison to Gwen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So that's
You
all I can hope.
saving LJ, huh?
Or excuse me, saving Gwen Stacy.
Um,
I'm gonna blame
for
it on this.
Yeah.
uh, for me, what I think is next, I think we'll see Toby and Andrew in Secret Wars. I think that's
Oh,
definitely going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
oh
I I
yeah.
I I have ideas of what I think would happen. I think Tom might get hit with the symbiote that was left over in their universe, and I think that could be something they were hinting at.
Yeah,
Um,
agree.
what I would really like to see is a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, done like Logan, a Spider-Man version of a
Kind
of
of
a
Where he
darker.
dies.
talking about like end days
Sure.
kind of stuff where he
Yeah,
does die.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true, but I did read that there was discussions of a Spider-Man 4 where we get to see more of where Peter and MJ are at. They have a daughter who's 14, 15 years old, and she has spider abilities. And Toby is training her and preparing her for that. And I think that could be a beautiful send off for Toby. Is if
I
he
guarantee you, MJ has left Toby already, or Peter.
Toby said
He's probably cheated and everything.
Oh my God, you're going full fucking city boy. She cheated. She's gone. Fuck her.
God, yeah, she's gone.
I just think that movie, like I said, I read I think that on like I don't know, one of the outlets, but it was a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but I think that's something that I would want to see. I think that could be really cool.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
All right, guys. Before we get out of here, let's take a look at the poll. You guys want to before I look, you guys want to take a guess on which one? Are you obviously
probably about 10 people maybe total? I'm gonna say Toby won because look at the age range of what you're doing. Toby's probably gonna win. I'm hoping Andrew pulls out some kind of miracle, but I think Toby's gonna win.
I agree. I think Toby's gonna win. It should be Tom, but I think Toby's gonna win based off nostalgia. I think nostalgia kills people more than everybody else really thinks.
I think because everybody talks about how Tom is the best. People talk about that all the time. And I have that debate with people a lot. So I think that Tom will probably win, but I'm hoping it's Toby. So, all right, ready?
Yep.
Coming in at 17% is Andrew Garfield.
We try.
Coming in at 33% is Tom Holland.
I see.
Nostalgia
kills you every time.
It's all good.
Nostalgia kills you every time.
It's a biased poll, you know?
Yeah.
Coming in at first place is Tobey Maguire, and that's
tell
another
us what percent though.
And that's another dub for me.
See, I still have a problem with him because he saved those people on that train. His mask came off. They saw how they saw who it was.
Just a child.
Just a child. He's a man child.
Grown-ass man.
This dude been paying bills for 20 years already.
Get him working, you know?
Hey, Derek. By the time the audience hears this, they'll know that I won last week's episode. And hold up, Zach.
Third episode was a dead ass. If raw, I was here. Okay.
Third episode, we agreed it's not coming out because we didn't like it. So shh. So the last episode that came out, I won. I won this episode. Derek, I've done this to you already on Realish, but hey, Zach.
Yes, OJ. Is he playing Drake? He sounds like Drake. Kind of guy that would play Drake.
He's playing Drake.
No, don't do that to me.
He's playing Aubrey.
No, sorry.
He's playing Aubrey.
You already played it. It's good. We can end the podcast now. Hey guys, take care. I'm Zach from Real Talk.
Zach, back to back like the cover of Lethal Weapon. Okay.
Are you proud? Drake would be the kind of guy who is in the mystery gang and says, "What are we gonna do now, gang?"
So Toby.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Derek coming in with the kill shot. Kill shot. Yes, sir.
Oh, it's Toby.
Yes, sir.
This has been another episode of Real Talk. Thank you all for tuning in, Derek. My guy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me very much.
God bless you, Derek. Pleasure meeting you, buddy.
You too, bro. You too.
All right, man. Until next week, it's been Real Talk.